Critics could be insulting and dangerous, but normal critics could be just as cruel. What are you, the self-righteous, holier-than-thou minority? If she was about to receive a lot of hate, she thanked God for all the loving, light-hearted, healthy, good things in her life. Who's going to listen to you anyway, they asked. No girls allowed. Laine thought she was making ground anyway. You only say that because you're my competitors, she said, still talking to her co-workers at the movie theater in Boston, who now seemed to forge with Cuchulain and Sethlin within her dreamscape. They laughed at her, but they were all aspiring artists, just like her. Laine looked down discouraged. How long had she been trying and fighting to seeming no avail? Even the show Promising Young Woman turned out to be a horror film. What chance did she have? Yet she thought that by embracing her freedom and autonomy as the basis of her dignity, she was a thinker as modern as her male opponents. You're annoying, Cuchulain said. If they viewed her as their competitors, they could use her lust against her and break her heart. La tua missione è la distruzione attraverso la seduzione. Your mission is destruction through seduction, Laine said. Come out for a drink with us, they asked. I don't drink. What are you, goody two-shoes? Back off, the both of you, she said. She wished they knew what it was like to be her, wished they could trade skins for a day, so they could know each other's experience. Laine knew that some of the greatest fighters actually showed the greatest restraint. I learned from my mistakes. I have compassion for myself. I put effort into my future. I'm willing to try for myself. I do my best. The girl she once was, she'd heal from her. The woman she was now, she'd protect her. The queen she would be, she'd fight for her. She saw a deer. Deer was prey and a natural giver. It needed to guard its heart fearlessly and learn not to make itself accessible to all. Right where she was at was an immense amount of creativity and genius. No longer would she misdirect the power of her gifts that she brought with her from a long, long ways away. She would see her vision coming to life, see herself giving her gifts away regardless of how they were received. Her work would find its right audience. Just because he didn't appreciate her for her creativity didn't mean other people wouldn't. What happens if I don't have a spear? Laine asked. She was a woman in an ancient place where men had the power but goddesses existed, working the power of their elemental magic to influence their environments. The trees scribbled on the sky and the silky blonde hair of her enemy seemed to fall over the full moon that night. She'd better think of something quick to change her energy around, or it would be night forever. She drew a fishing pole in her mind's eye, thinking of the time she and her brother went fishing. He seemed to think of her as his perfect sister when she was so flawed, and he became perfected in her eyes through his death. He was someone with glass behind his eyes, adding to the flavor and contrast of life and their family history, the kind of brother who inspired great works of fiction. How he was arrested at his own basketball game she did not know. How the time they had to get him out of trouble visiting the bail bondsman in the shop with a 4-leaf clover. He'd be remembered in that town and community, like the brother in A River Runs Through It, who was simply misguided, and if any guy would love her as much as her brother, she'd be lucky. A love she didn't really understand until he had passed. "What is that?" Cuchulain asked. Something changed, and they were actually looking at her in a different way. She was as shocked as they were. A teacher now. How'd she summon up a fishing pole out of thin air? The night descended like a pulled curtain on a stage. The mystery was illuminating something that shone even through the darkness. "You need to take yourself more seriously," Cuchulain told her. "You're actually becoming kind of a big deal. You're a celebrity almost." Had she missed something? She didn't know what he was talking about. She almost forgot that he made promises to her and then left her. When one starts to value themselves and their work, people ask how they can be of service. She felt grateful and deserving of this help, because life was one continuous cycle of giving and receiving. "Che posso fare per te?" What can I do for you? Then her head became a swirl of voices. All the voices were talking inside her dream. She was inside the storm of karmic debt, and Cuchulain became Max again, no longer the ancient hero of her heart. "Since you became famous, you should see how many people I've kissed since you. It's overwhelming how much I don't care about you." And then, as if it slipped in, "Wait, you're actually famous? I might have to reconsider this." It was like she and Cuchulain had become two children play-fighting at a cafe. Their mom was redirecting them. "You already got your goodie," the mom said. "She tried sharing with you, but you chose the other one. You made your choice. You chose the brownies." I mean, take Sethlin. Look what his frustrations and grievances have earned him. He's the laughing stock of the ages. Actually, this is pretty cool. This is historic. Sethlin was the Ulsterman warrior who punched the rock so hard. That's how the famous stone got its hole. The Hold Stone at Castledermot, County Kildare, was known as the Swearing Stone, or Stone of the Oaths. The granite was carved with a ringed cross and bore a circular hole in the center of the crosshead. "Still, it means we're going the wrong way," Laine said. "Not towards the white cliffs and the brown bull at all." "Is that what you did?" Cuchulain asked, moved on. "We have unfinished business," she heard. But there was a stronger voice that said, "You're officially out of the Stone Age. You've evolved." Just like the shark, she'd kept moving through the waters of her emotions, didn't get trapped in them, kept moving towards what really mattered. At moments she was elbow deep in the dish pit. The nick in her finger from the kitchen job drew them around her. They preyed on her weakness, but weren't anticipating her strength. "You have so much love ready to give, and you must not give it away to just anyone." The dragonfly was mature and kept its emotions in check. It was quick to change directions midway through flight and forgive itself and others. It was a sign that blessings were around the corner. Laine looked down at what her hands were holding. "It's a fishing pole," she said. Cuchulain was from the Stone Age. He'd never seen anything like this. Even though she couldn't see things changing, she felt they were. Things are not as they appear. You are such an inspiration. You don't know how much good you bring to your community. Sometimes paying her dues meant being the sunshine for others. As a teacher, she was the sparkle in the melting snow they trod their boots across, but still found a way to shine again. She was supposed to have manifested the spear, but got this fishing pole. She'd have to work with what she had, doing what she could where she was.